What's up? Thanks for stopping by. So I recently purchased some embossed crocodile vegetable tan leather, and there's a review video of it if you want to see it. But problem I had with it was the back side here. It's kind of this white, scaly. I don't really like using that, and there's kind of all stuff all over it. So I'm gonna put together today 3 different options. I'm gonna try to figure out which way I like best. 3 different options, 3 different projects that are relatively similar. But what I'm gonna do is see which way I like to use it best. That way I can use it in my shop. Stay tuned till the end. I'm probably gonna keep one, but the others I'll list in my Etsy shop. If you find me there, send me a little message. I'll give you a coupon for 50% off. So I'll cut you that. If I'm gonna use them in a video, I might as well get rid of them and put them to good use. So first thing I'm gonna do. So this is a 2.5 ounce. Again, it's a vegetable tan with like the crocodile embossing on it, and 2.5 ounce, and it was from Rocky Mountain Leather Supply. If you want to see my full review on it, you can check it out. I got a video there. But what I'm going to do today is a couple different things. One, I'm making a little, let's see, it's going to be a little flip. Oh, here I'm put some snap buttons in there. But one of them, I'm actually going to line it with this 1 ounce vegetable tan, just so I can cover that up. The other, I got a suggestion to dye it, which I'm going to try that as well. And then the third, I'm actually going to pair it with this whiskey colored vegetable tan also. This is one I did a review on too, but I want to pair it with something else just to see if I want to use it that way. I have about 9 square feet of this stuff, so I want to figure out which way will work best. When I'm making a wallet, how I want it to look, how I want it to feel, and then I'm going to carry one around just so I can kind of see how it breaks in, to be able to speak to it a little bit more to my customers when they have questions. So here we go. I'm going to start with the first one. I'm going to work with this dyed one. I already have a piece dyed here, and I have a little insert piece dyed here. So if you'd like to follow along, these are relatively easy patterns. 2 of them are going to be the same. I'm just going to do them a little bit differently. And then this third one is going to be a little different. And when I get to it, I'll tell you the sizes on there. But it's relatively easy. And if you can cut a rectangle, you can make these projects. So I'll give you all the measurements there, and then I'll throw them in the description as well. So we're going to get going on this first one with the dyed interior. And we'll see how that goes. All right, so this first one here, if you cut a 8x4 rectangle, and then all you got to do is make whatever shape you want to make here. I'm just doing a pretty simple shape here. I had an old wallet pattern that I used, so I traced this onto both ends, and that'll be for both projects. So the one that I'm going to line, and also this one I'm going to dye, it's an 8x4 rectangle inch. And then what I have here is an insert that is basically the same top, and then I cut in and cut down, and that is going to be 2.5 inches. And the way that's going to sit will be, I also dyed the back of it too. You do have to dye the edges on this, and that was part of my review, is the white on the back, just I had a time with it. So I'm hoping this one works out, because I really want to get to use it. I really like the feel of it. But what this is going to do, I'm going to make a card holder here with 1 pocket, 2 pockets, and then this will fold down to some snap buttons. I have some brass snap buttons, 10mm caps that I got from Buckle Guy, and I'll show you those as I get to them. But so again, 8 inch by 4 inch, 2.5 inch. Cut this out, give yourself some relief down here, and then we can get to putting this thing together. All right, so as I got my piece here, what I did, I went over 1/2 inch and I came up 1/2 inch. That way I'm going to set these button snaps in there. If you've never gotten one, I got this again from Buckle Guy. It comes with, one tip is like this, one is a, wrong end. There you go. There's the other one that the button will sit in. And what those do is those help push in and get these things locked in. So there's also a concave side and a flat side, and you'll see why in just a minute if you've never done them. So what I'm going to do this first one, you see my little post here. What I'm going to do is, this is going to be, well, I'm sorry. Let me start with the snap. I'm going to start with the snap first. This will be on the top, and then this will fold down into, and so what this is going to be, this will be, look like, is this in here. I can't hold on to these things. There you go. And these are solid brass. I really like these. Here's the inside here. That'll be the part that snaps on. You do need a relatively big hole for this to go through. And so I already do have some small holes punched, but I'm just going to widen those up a little bit. Just get my hole puncher, line them up, and let it fly. I did one of these before, and it kind of looked like a snake on the other end with these brass snaps in here. So let's see. First one, let me see if I can get it through here. I'm going to do this. That should be a good fit there. I'm going to put this cap on it here. All right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually use the concave side so I don't bend this up and jack it up. So I'm going to set that in there. And then use my one with a point here that sits right inside that snap. And then, oh, of course I don't have my maul. Here we go. Got my maul here. I'm going to give it a few taps. A little more than a tap. And I always like to try to twist them just in case I can't twist this one. That way I know it's good. So I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. Cap in there. Lay it on the concave side. Wrong setter. There you go. The more you do these, you'll know the sounds. But there's my two buttons there. See, it kind of looks like a python. It's kind of awesome looking. And this is in the military green. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but this is military green. And like I said, it comes in, this was 2.5 ounces. And again, this is a pretty easy build. And so I am excited to kind of throw this together. But what I'm going to do now, I actually have to make my holes for down here so I can snap these down. So I'm going to do like a little dry run here. I'm going to see where this sits. I'm going to fold it down. And then I want to make sure we're all lined up in here so I can make my hole punches. I should have done them before I did this, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. All right, so what I should have done before I punch that is actually make a little mark in there so I could punch the holes on the back side here. But I'm just going to do a little measuring here, and then we'll figure it out. All right, so as I did my measurements, I basically came in the same 1/2 inch as I did on this side, and then it was 1 inch and 1/8 down there. So what that's going to do, that's going to set it to give me a little bit of space down here, but also that's just a nice easy fold, and then this will fit in there comfortably. So again, as a 1/2 inch, and then I went down 1/8, or excuse me, 1 inch, 1 inch and 1/8 right here. And so that'll put me, now these are going to be smaller holes because all I have to do is put this little post in there. So these will be a little bit smaller, and when you get them, you can kind of see what you need to punch. But that's all I'm going to do is punch those through there and put these little button snaps in here so this thing can attach just like that. So now I'm using the flat side. Okay, I got my post, got my button. Now I got to use this other, this one here. And so that's going to sit right on top of this little button here. It's as loud on camera as it is in my ear, but all right, same thing, post. My little button snap. Rounded edge on there. All right, so then I always like to give it a little test just to make sure these buttons line up. Make sure they snap in there right. That puts us just right. So now all I'm gonna do, it's a pretty quick project. I'm gonna put this in here. I'm going to get my edges just right there. Make sure I line this up. And then I will contact cement this down, and then I'm gonna put a nice little stitch in here, get this thing all stitched up, and we'll see how we look. All right, so I got this contact cemented. I'm just gonna keep this under clamps for now. And what I'm gonna do, put that one to the side. And I'm actually gonna get my next project. Now again, this is gonna be the same idea, except I'm using a liner instead of using that black dye on the inside. Now I will still have to dye these edges, and that was one of the things I didn't like about this, is that it's all white on the outside. So I'll still dye these edges here, and then the piece that I use here, I'm just going to use a liner and get that thing lined up nice. All right, so again for this one, same measurements all the way around. And what I had to do is dye these edges, because again it's very white and kind of off-white actually. It also picks up a lot, so I'm gonna hide that. Anyway, I got some dye on those edges, and what I'm gonna do is attach it to this 1 ounce vegetable tan here. I'm just gonna glue these two together like so, board cement, and we're gonna make it happen. I've also dyed this edges on here too, so I had to have everything dyed before I get this build together. This cure out nicely. Like how it's going so far. And then what I'll do is I'll just cut around these edges real tight here, and then we'll be in business. And then the difference with this one is I am, instead of just stitching here, I'm actually going to go throw a stitch all the way around it, because it is lined. Again, this one is just the dyed one, so I'll throw a stitch all the way around it, but the same process will go. I'm going to install these. I'll install my sleeve there, and then we'll get this thing stitched up and see how it turns out. All right, so I let that cure a bit, and then what I did, I just took a straight edge and cleaned up those edges. Come in clean around there. I will have to touch up a little bit on the dye. When I got too close, you can see there's still some white in there, but that's okay, because this will cover it up. But anyway, this is the line piece here. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna attach those 2 buckles on there, or I'm sorry, there's 2 buttons on there, snap buttons. And then this one I actually sewn up as well so far. That one came out, and then I'll still work on the edges and everything. But I do want to get this one done, so I'm essentially gonna take my I've dyed the edges here. I do need to run some Tokonol and run my slicker on there just to get that right. I'm going to get those 2 snaps in there, and I'm essentially going to create the same little piece here. So I'm going to get onto that, and then we are making our way. We'll be through these projects in no time. All right, so I got this one glued up now, buttons attached. So what I'll do, before you do, if you got to take these edges and smooth these out before you attach them. So that's just one thing before, because once you sew these in, that's a wrap. You ain't gonna be able to get to them very easily. So finish off these edges. I just ran some Tokonol. I sanded them down, ran some Tokonol, and threw some more dye on there just to make sure they were all clean. I really like how they sealed up, and I think they're gonna do just fine. I'm really liking the feel of this one. I think it's a little bit more substantial, obviously, with the lining in there. And so I like how this is gonna go. I'll see how the stitch goes all the way around just to see what that looks like and see how it does. But glued up and initially, I really like how this is feeling right now. So this number 2 out of the way. Well, I'm not done with it, but we're gonna go into the others as this sits and dries. And so the next one, it's a little bit different. It's gonna be a little bit different design. But basically, what I did was I got 4 of these, and I'm gonna try to match it with this piece of whiskey Boudreaux that I have. It's an awesome vegetable tan, and so what I'm gonna do is put one on either side and just kind of sandwich it in, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on top and bottom here. And so it'll just kind of be you'll have 4 pockets, kind of be a little reversible type here. But so for the measurements here, 144 millimeters by 10 centimeters. And so Again, just a simple rectangle. So for these pieces here, all it is you can just, again, cut out a rectangle, 2 by 4. So that 4 is also, let's see, 4 is just about 10 centimeters. So it's going to be the same width. You want 10 centimeters, and then you also want 2 inches here. And then how you create this is kind of up to you. If you just want a little slope in there, though, that kind of creates a nice edge. Same thing here. I'm going to have to dye these again, which I'm about getting tired of. But they do burnish really nice. I will say that when they are dyed, they do burnish very, very well. So I do appreciate that. And they come out nice and smooth. And so you really don't get any of that texture or anything in the once you cut them, once you sand them, once you finish those edges, they really come out clean. So it is a pain. And when I am dyeing them, this sometimes the dye will bleed over. It wipes off pretty easily if you get to it quick enough. I'm trying to be careful not to. On the back side, you don't necessarily see it, so that's fine. But and this too, I'm gonna have to dye just to match them up. I guess I'll dye these edges black too. But yeah, I just want to kind of create a nice uniform look and just kind of see how this pairs with a different type of leather, so I can kind of use it more of an accent as opposed to just the entire piece being from. I still don't know if I like the entire piece being out of it, but anyway, that's why we're doing this. So I'm going to work through this. It's again a little bit different style, but again pretty simple design. And I'll kind of walk through what I'm doing here sewing too, but pretty simple design. Again, 10 centimeters by 2 inches, 144 by 10 centimeters, 144 millimeters by 10 centimeters for that rectangle. And then I'm just going to pair these up, and we're going to start to compare and contrast, see what we like, what we don't like, and then maybe I can have one of these in my wallet by the end of the day. In my pocket by the end of the day. Good idea to check the back of your leather before you cut it. Got this little marking in there. That's all right. This one will get covered up. This one won't. So this will be a keeper, I assume. It's going to be in my pocket, or maybe a steep discount if somebody's interested. So check your leather before you cut it. All right, so get the contact cement on. I'm liking how this is turning out so far. I'm gonna run a stitch line. I'm just gonna do it all the way around, just for fun. Let's see, I'll do black. I'll go black all the way around, and we'll see where we're at. All right, so got our 3 projects here. I am super glad how they came out, but I'm just gonna run through them real quick and kind of see. I want to get some feedback and see what y'all think too. I think I got my favorite, but I'm kind of torn in between 2. I will say my least favorite is the stained version. It's only 2.5 ounces, so it doesn't feel crazy substantial. And this being the only thing that's on the front, just feels a little wimpy to me. And also, I just don't like how the dye feels. I can already see it's kind of just the bend and the crease. I just don't know how it's going to break in. So I don't feel like I'd be too comfortable making that and selling it and using it. It just doesn't have a good feel to it. It was the easiest one I got 10 cards in there pretty easy. And that did make it feel a little bit more sturdy, a little bit. I do like the look of it. It is a good looking piece. But for me, I would prefer to have a little more substance in there and a little more heft, I guess. But like I said, I crammed about 10 cards in there. Not too bad, and they were easily in and out. My biggest concern is the inside and how it's going to wear, and really how it feels. It just doesn't have a very nice feel to it. On the flip side, that same style, now this one I lined with some leather, and this one is up there for me. It feels, even with no cards in it, it has a little feel to it, which I like, and some substance there. And I just think the stitching too gives it such a nice little outline, nice little accent. I think this one came out really, really nice. The one downfall, and this is probably something too that I like a smaller one, so I try not to make them too wide, but to accommodate more, I can make these a little bit wider. Probably 8 cards. I usually only care about 6 to 8, usually 6 more times than not, but 8 cards was about, I got 10 in there, but it wasn't a very good fit. And I know it would give over time because it is a pretty rigid leather, and it would give. But I don't like when it's, you know, you get that big hump in the back and shape there. So that was kind of the only downfall, was maybe that was the capacity of it. But again, for me, I only carry about 6, so it would totally work fine. But if you carry a little bit more, this may not be the style for you if you do. But anyway, this one I really like. The lining set it apart for sure, and it gives that front, that feel is awesome, and it gives that front. I will say probably the most frustrating thing was getting these edges, because when you cut it, it was white, and when I was sanding to get these edges right, and the white shows back up, so now you gotta dye it again so you can sand it, so you can sit. So it took me a bunch of tries to get this right. I think it did come out pretty good, and like I said, it does burnish well, but it's just a pain to have to go back time and time again, and you obviously don't want to get anything on the actual piece, which is why I did it in black, so I could just hide that in there. But overall, yes, I much more preferred over the dyed version. It just has a better feel to it. My favorite, I believe, is an accent. So this is the Boudreaux I put it on, and I absolutely love this one. This is a little different design, and actually, as I was doing it, I cut out two more I can just do with the veg tan there. But I think this is gonna be I think accent is the way to go. This is what I liked it best against. When I first paired them together, I wasn't sure. As I see them together now, and when I put some cards in it, it's a very comfortable. There's something there because there's 3 layers here. But just has a super nice feel, and I think this will break in. This will break in awesome. But for me, I like to carry a little bit smaller things like this. So I think this is my winner right here. But let me know what you think in the comments. I may honestly list them all and just make another one for me to carry, just so I can get the feel for it. I will discount this one severely because I don't like it, but these other 2 I really like. It's a toss-up for me. Leave a comment which one you think, or which one you prefer. Maybe looks better, or you'd prefer to carry, but I think this was my winner. Just as it's a real sleek. I stuffed, let's see, I got 8 in there very easy because there's more pockets, so that makes sense. I did put 10, but again, I don't carry 10, so it didn't really matter to me. But even with the cards in it, I thought it looked awesome. It has a great feel. I could just stuff this in my you know, pants or bag or wherever and just go. But it's between these 2, so let me know what you think. Unfortunately, I do think for the rest of the side that I have, to use it as an accent, it's probably going to have to be on some more things like this. So I just may have to put out kind of a line of things like this that have just kind of an accent in there. I'm certainly going to use it on some shoes. If I can get some time to make some shoes, I'm gonna definitely use this on there. I think that would be awesome. But I think it's going to be more accents than anything else, unfortunately. If you got any other ideas, let me know. Again, it's only a 2.5 ounce, so if you can kind of think of something in that I could use it for. Kind of bummed out because I really like how it looks. The uses for it I'm struggling to kind of come up with, and just struggling on those edges to have to time and time again go back and touch them up, so I can get them to look right. But anyway, here they are, the 3. I appreciate you checking out my video. If you like what I'm doing, hit subscribe, like, comment. If you'd like to have one of these, let me know. I can get it to you for pretty cheap, and I'll give you a little coupon code in my Etsy shop if you'd like. But appreciate your time. Hopefully I'll be back with something else soon, and we'll be seeing you. I do appreciate stopping by and checking out my video. Have a good one.